We're on our way to the South Central meet-up again. It's October the, whatever it is, 6th, I think. And this is Croome Park, or Croome Court, just off the M5. Lunch break, Karen's inside having a look around, and I'm guarding the flock. Sam, do not go off without me.
About a week after we got back from Scotland, we made the decision to go down and see Alden in Portsmouth. And I'd noticed that the South Central build group had decided to have a meet-up, so I booked some tickets and off we went. What I hadn't realised is we weren't planning to see Alden for another 2 weeks, so we shot off somewhat early. We do our normal route down to Shaftesbury of stopping for a couple of nights on the way, and these images are some of the snaps I took of some of the places we stopped at before getting down to the event at the Motcombe showground. We had another reason for going as well, and that was to visit some relatives of Karen, which will be in part 2. Just somebody that's not been very well, and we thought we'd go and see them whilst we were on the trip.
Spot the camper van in that gap there. We spent the night here in Malmesbury. That's probably one of the best car park overnights I've ever done. Amazing. We're now heading off into the village, or the town rather, and we're following these steps, and every few yards you've got things like this with a bit of history.
I really liked Malmesbury. I went for a good old wandeраbout the previous evening while Karen was watching a bit of TV. We came back the following morning and visited the Abbey. I do my normal thing of guarding the dogs, so Karen went in and had a look around. The archway, or the entrance to the Abbey, the stonework was really quite impressive. You had this really big outer archway, and then inside more carving. I'm always impressed and admire the work of people that would have toiled away with hand tools for years on end to produce this stuff. And although I'm not a particularly religious person, I do like the architecture of some of these buildings. In our previous our previous video in Scotland, the Fowlis Wester Church I thought was an absolutely gorgeous place. The whole building was just nice to be in. This little street, we wandered down to see this almshouse. We'd seen a photograph of it online, and I've wandered down to have a look at it. And this really caught my eye as well. This is another part of Malmesbury. All those bicycles hanging off the ceiling from Highham's garage. Couldn't resist taking a picture of it. Karen went into the tourist information centre there, and this struck me as strange. Just an unusual tower on top of looked like a house. Then we went to Lacock village. Lacock Abbey. Absolutely gorgeous place. Absolutely gorgeous. Rather spoilt by the amount of parking. Obviously the people that live there need to park somewhere, but I'm surprised being a National Trust owned facility that people are allowed to actually park their cars anywhere near where they live. I thought the National Trust were quite strict on their little picturesque places. But we really enjoyed wandering around this place. Definitely a place to go back to again.
This is Lacock Tithe Barn. It's not immediately obvious that you can actually come in here and have a look around, and people are just walking past. But this is staggering, and if you look at the stonework, they're not regular shapes like you'd see from Welsh slates. These are sort of triangles and oblongs, and it looks like this side's been redone. There's felt up there, so it may not even be the old stone tiles on this side. But that is one heck of a strong oak frame. And the wall there at the end is at about 30 degrees. It's not square to the rest of the building because we're at the corner of the road. But unlike most of the rest of the village, there's no cars parked in here preventing the view.
I tend not to take any pictures at the van meets we go to. There's loads of people with drones and hundreds of people posting pictures on Facebook, so we just take the odd interesting one. And Dave Howe's homemade machine gun, not active obviously, was very impressive. Dave's quite a good friend of mine. He's been here to visit us at home. Then after the event, we headed off down to Durdledore. Haven't been there for decades. Perfect day for it. We had gone to Bovington tank ranges, but the sun was out, so we thought Durdledore. £15 a park. Caught me by surprise. So we spent most of the day down there and managed to see this ship circling around through the eye of the door. Sorry about the shaky cam. I will one day remember to take my tripod with me, but this ship just hovered around for most of the day, coming up quite close towards the beach at just as we were leaving. And after Durdledore we headed off to Portland. Portland is somewhere I've never been to before. Didn't really know what to expect and was pleasantly surprised. I was having ideas that it'd be like the Isle of Sheppey. Karen was born in the Isle of Sheppey and I always take the mickey out of her. It's not the best island on the planet. There's that ship. He was just trundling off. I think he had the engines going at that point. There we are. A car park above Chesil Beach. There were no parking signs in part of it. I don't know if it applied to the bit we were in. This was really just a lovely place. We actually stayed here for 2 days in the end. It was so nice and there was so much to see and do. Even around the corner there was a small community farm with these wallabies in it. And then on the other side you can literally walk from one side of the island to the other. Again, a lovely day, looking out towards where Durdledore was. I'm guessing this was some sort of navy vessel, or maybe something for carrying stone in, I don't know. And then this Lynx helicopter went, I think it's a Lynx, went whizzing past. But there's a lot of work that's happened here. This van, look, there was somebody actually living in this van. But there's a lot of work that's been going on the island to create sculpture parks and illustrate its history. Because obviously Portland limestone has been used all around the world. There was this gun battery that we went and had a look at. And there were some tunnels you could walk around. It's a big gun battery. It's unusual. And then there's this ring of stones here that they call the memory stones, and it's a modern sculpture and people are still working on it now. There was somebody actually cutting these lines in the stone the evening we were walking around.
What looked like beach huts in a lovely setting. There's a yacht there. We're sitting in the Quarry Sculpture Garden. What a viewpoint. Good heavens. And I was wondering why there weren't any solar panels on any of their houses. But there are just a few. Nothing like as many as you expect to see, but there's a few solar panels on a few roofs.
We took a walk around the sculpture park. The dog's always photogenic in some situations. There was a lot. We probably didn't see all of the sculptures in this park. It was an extremely sunny and very bright day, and the white stone, you know, it was like being in a desert almost, or you know, it's one of the high chalk areas on the Kent Downs. But the stonework, the carvings, they've been there for, some of them have been there for a very long time, and they're very, very, very good. This dog was huge. It was difficult to photograph, but it was a really big sculpture. We did take a picture with the dogs against it, but it didn't expose properly. And then there's a dinosaur there and a bear. Just loads and loads of different stones that various artists had done. There's even the remnants of the actual stone carving camp that they used. Then it was off down to Portland Bill. and there's Molly doing what Molly does. But we had a good look around Portlandville. The weather was beginning to close in. It wasn't beautifully sunny, but it was interesting, and we thoroughly enjoyed going the way down there to have a look, and so did the dogs.
So this is Portlandville and Portlandville Lighthouse, and we managed to arrive when there are some Jurassic Digerosauruses doing drains or waterworks or something. So the car park's blocked off with plant machinery. A whole load of photographers over there photographing something, but we haven't worked out what yet. I'll probably go and ask in a minute what you're looking at. And then right over there, they've now disappeared off the horizon, but right over there were what appeared to be a convoy of maybe Navy ships, don't really know. Gone now. But the photographers are all pointing over here somewhere. I don't know what it is they're looking at. We're looking for dolphins, perhaps. Can't see anything myself. And there's a Molly. Doing what Molly does. Parked, watching the world go by. And Sam running around because he wants to go. Standing still is not his thing.
Well, I never did find out what they were photographing. They all cleared off. Whatever they were looking for had gone. We then went off to West Bay. This is somewhere I've never been to before. We had a wander along the beach and around the town, and then afterwards it was time to start heading inland to a place called Thorncombe.
Been past Alden over there, cottage at the end, and what looks like their garden on the other side of the road. But I just took the public footpath in this field over here. There's a gap up there, and the view over the village, pretty impressive. So even some less than ideal parking up like this has some hidden surprises. And it rained last night, and we have wet corgis. And this is the site I was greeted with this morning. There's an inversion layer, so you've got mist in the valley down there, just down towards the village, and all that through there. And we're quite high up, so this mist goes all the way round in the valley behind us, and in this field that's full of hay bales. And the corgis haven't had their breakfast yet, so they're heading back already. Molly's doing a runner. But not a particularly interesting park up, quite noisy, but well worth a little wander to see what's about. Lovely.
Whenever I'm near Chard, I always go and pay my respects to my father's gravestone. And then we went off to Compton Castle. The guides here were wonderful. We had a really good talk from one of the guides about the history of this castle. It was just a pretty little place to have a look around, and they had a thing about squirrels, as you can see. There were squirrels everywhere. Stuffed ones for the kids to find, but there was lots of ornamental squirrels like this. That was a private barn that's actually in the grounds, but somebody lives there. But the castle, quite imposing building, and had been completely renovated by the owners in about the 1930s. and there wasn't that many people there. But it was definitely an interesting place to go to, and I love cyclamen. Autumn's beginning to come. Then we popped into Totnes, had a very nice coffee in a cafe on the way down to Dartmouth. We went to Dartmouth specifically to go and have a look at where Alden could well end up if he continues with his career in the Navy, because he'll end up doing some time in the Naval College. It was drizzly when we got there. We stayed in a pub about 2 miles outside of Dartmouth, stayed in the car park, and then drove down. We could have stayed in the park and ride, but it was about £10 just to be in the park and ride. We did actually park in the park and ride and got the bus down, which cost us £3 each, and had a lovely time walking around. It was overcast initially, hence why some of the photos look a bit grey, but as the day progressed the sun came out. We walked all the way down to the castle and just generally explored. Dartmouth is a lovely place. Lots of curious stuff there. The oldest pub apparently had this interesting window, which may not be original, but it's a very interesting window. This building was about as crooked as you could possibly get. Even the red door was all crooked and bent. And as I said, the sun eventually started coming out, so the photographs were taken earlier. I read it again, and then we walked down to the castle. And I'd seen this swan boat thing on Google Street View, so I knew, I thought it might still be there.
I'm taking a walk down to Dartmouth Castle. It was drizzly earlier on, but the weather's now slowly improving.
Then we headed off to the National Trust Garden at Killerton. Autumn colours really were marvellous here. I was surprised to see witch hazel out. Mine doesn't come out until February, but there were some really nice colours. Karen had a wander around the house and I had a wander around the garden, doing the thing with the dogs. But look at the reds, it's absolutely cracking. Coming up is a Euonymus. Euonymuses have these red berries. These are about the size of strawberries. I've never seen a Euonymus anything like this before. Anyway, in part 2 we go off to Sanford Peveril and stop with Karen's family for a few hours. But thanks for watching this episode.